This is the broodmother, and this is a demonic reaper empress eating that broodmother. And this is me, hey, who'll be spending 100 days with the Primal Fear mod, living with these terrifying creatures on an awesome map called Hope. And as always, the adventure begins on day one.
Wait, what? Wait, why are we... I got the normal thing on my arm, as usual. Why are we so high up? What? Why are we... Oh, we're good. Alright, I don't see anything. Too bad.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. My life was short-lived after a baryonic set its sights on me. Great style. I try not to make the same mistake twice, so this time I spawned at the beach and started gathering the basic resources to craft the starter tools to get me going. But there's something you should know. First off, I know nothing about this mod other than that there are tiers to dinosaurs and you need the previous tier's X to advance into the next tier. Secondly, I have a couple challenges set for me, which are to defeat the demonic reaper empress, which has over 80 million health and can slaughter armies in seconds with one single attack. Also, more importantly, for my character to finally hit leg day. After farming more resources with my tools, I got some narco berries from a bush and had a new item I could craft called a primal spear that is able to deal torpor damage. So I crafted a few of those and normal spears for protection. I was now on the hunt for hide and stumbled across an alpha dilophosaur, which I did not want to annoy, so I ran away as fast as I could and had to take an innocent life instead. I'm so sorry. After leveling up, I had unlocked healing stews, which were super cheap, so I crafted 2 of them, and I still wanted more hide, so I turned a parasaur into a porcupine, and was harvesting my kill when a sneaky toxic raptor made me its kill. Yeah, Primal Fear made me its punching bag until it started to get dark and I was finally able to get my possessions back. Since no one in their neighbourhood was particularly friendly, I started making all the things I'll need for my first base, plus polars for all the raptors nearby, when I heard a huge explosion.
What the hell?
My first base was now complete with a mortar and pestle, and I was also now equipped with a bow and arrow for that extra defense. The next day I made one single narcotic. The progress is real. I was in need of a friend though, so I started passive taming a Listosaurus, which was taking a while, so I also set up spikes around my house, as anything above dodo tier could end me at any moment. I still had spare time though, so I made storage boxes and a compost bin, as I need to get fertilizer to make crops very early on to make kibble to tame primal dinos. And then Bobby tamed. I was no longer alone and feeling great about this journey so far.
Bobby! Whoa! What?
Once again I was turned into a punching bag, but luckily it got bored of ruining my life and left, and I was able to bowler and knock a level 90 PT very easily with the primal spears I made. While it was taming, I was about to start repairing my house when, well, I don't want to talk about it. Not the best of my days. I was feeling good about day 3, because I was able to kill a level 260 raptor for its hide, and nearby my base I spotted his lower level friend. Turns out he had even more friends. So I spawned back in and I was able to bowler all 3 of them, but I couldn't even finish off one of them. So later, after waiting a while for them to politely leave, I made a bed and rebuilt my base after what had happened yesterday. As I was doing so, a primal Kentrosaurus obliterated me. And when grabbing my loot, I noticed a dead Diplo, so I risked my life to get some of that juicy hide.
Come on, let's steal! 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 Steal!
Of course, after respawning, I went back for the rest. Okay, my gut feeling was wrong about yesterday, but I'm really feeling great today. I started off by upgrading my base to wood, and then I made some narcotics, then killed a fish to try tame a Hesperornis with, but it only did 1%, so I did the logical thing of erasing all evidence of this ever happening. I then tried to tame a Sabertooth, but hey, just because part of your day didn't go as planned doesn't mean all of it needs to be bad, as progress was still happening. I crafted a forge, put some metal in it to smelt, and headed outside where I found a Phiomia. Look, I was getting desperate at this point, so guess who now had the strongest team ever? Ronnie Coleman. Day 5 started out with Ronnie asserting his dominance by murdering a raptor, and after that we went on a metal run as I'm going to need some metal tools soon. Shortly after though, I made a raft with some beds so I can go up the river and explore the map, but I am not quite ready to do that yet, so I force-fed Ronnie a bunch of stimberries, making him become a poop machine for my compost bins. I then made an S+ smithy which I used to craft a metal pick, and since I'm going to be making kibble soon, I'm going to need eggs. So I knocked and fed a dodo, but apparently you can't knock out bunny dodos. And as I was patiently waiting for the dodo to tame, I got the death message that Ronnie had been killed.
No! No! Ronnie! Stop!
I attempted to lure the Ferrozino away, but damn, is this mod gonna give me a break or what? I guess not, because when I got back to my base there was a demonic parasaur getting eaten by a tech parasaur. It did give me super cool loot, but murdered the rest of my companions. So to make some light of the situation, I consumed an XP potion, and a Kentro wasn't too happy about that. At least I was able to scavenge some demonic hide and finish the day off with a Dimorphodon. In the early hours of day 6, I set up wooden pillars around my base to stop larger predators from strolling in while I'm away on my raft across the river searching for new tames. When I arrived, I spotted a purple drop. I went to go look at it, hoping for crystals so I could make an awesome spyglass, but I kind of messed up a bowler and perished. Later on, I found and knocked a level 100 I'll just call it a Stig, which is basically a Pachyrhinosaurus. Once it tamed, I made a swift escape to my raft, and when I was back I crafted myself a hatchet and a crossbow, which I used to knock out a level 40 PT. The next day though, I got greedy, went searching for more higher level PTs, when Sty was randomly killed. Luckily I had no emotional attachment yet, so it's alright, and at least I found a level 270 PT, which I tamed using Prime Meat and a Tame Helper. I did consider taming this parasaur, but an Apex Hyena came, so I took my winnings home, where I made a PT saddle and fed it an XP potion. I then set off on my journey to gather crystal, which I found on a cliff, and I was finally able to make an awesome spyglass, which aided me in taming a level 170 Sabertooth, which should be a good land mount. While I was waiting for it to tame on day 8, I found some insane blueprints inside of this loot bag. I mean, I'll take it. I also mined some metal to make its saddle, and Diego was tamed, which I brought back to my base quickly. When nearby I spotted a trike, which would be a very good berry gatherer. So I rode Diego while shooting it with tracks, and after a long while it worked and knocked out. This tame was going to take some time though, so I farmed some metal with Diego and took care of some tech raptors and started turning the base to stone. Luckily by day 9 enough metal had smelted for me to craft flak armor. Shortly after, Burby had tamed, and I got tons of narcoberries and some seeds I needed for my crop plots, which since now they are seeded, they needed irrigation, so I set up some stone pipes to water them for me. And after that I made a primal smithy, which is used to craft all the primal items basically in this mod, and for the rest of the day I turned all the pillars surrounding my base to stone, also adding a stone gate to fit in my more plus sized dinos. Day 10 started off in an extremely dangerous situation where I was trying to knock out a nearby RG which was right next to a demonic parasaur. I don't know how the parasaur didn't just completely nuke me and destroy my base. Either way, it ended up being all for nothing since the RG flew away. To make narcotics, I was now lacking spoiled meat, so I split hundreds of meat in my inventory to make them spoil all at once. And I also made 2 more crop plots as well. For all the kibbles in the game, I need 4 different kinds of crops, which are rock carrots, savroots, long grass and citronals. Shortly after, huge progress was made though, as I was able to make one singular toxic kibble, which if you can't put the pieces together is used to tame toxic tiered dinos. Sadly, the hide didn't last very long, as when farming berries with Burby, the primal Kentra that's been tormenting me this whole video, killed Burby. No, Burby! No! Burby! Now since my recent loss, I need a new berry gatherer, so I tried to tame a parasaur when Diego just decided to run away. I don't know why, but by the time I grabbed him, the parasaur was gone, so instead I tried to tame another trike, but a pack of raptors quickly stopped that. Then as I was making my escape, somehow a tech parasaur sniped Diego. Where did it come from? I was on the ocean. What? Diego! Well, that sucks. Anyway, later on I was fighting an Alpha Dimorphodon and was wondering why wasn't it doing any damage to my PT. This is when I realised the Morphodons hit the rider, not the mount. No! Oh no! I somehow managed to get back in the nick of time, barely saving my PT from being a tasty meal, and once the dinos lost aggro on me, I got my loot back, also getting the dead Dimorphodon's loot, which was pretty nice, but I did get a little bit too close to a demonic Hydeodon.
That was close.
By day 12, I had killed another Alpha Dimorphodon, but my PC nearly exploded as I was getting about 1 frame a second. It was a terrible experience. I had to turn all my settings down to the minimum just to be able to find out the culprit was an exploding monkey. At least on the bright side, when I got away, I spotted a level 260 RG, so I farmed up a quick little trap, placed it in a safe location, lured the RG in, shot it with tranks and knocked it out. Quick little mention here, if my graphics drop throughout this video, it's because my PC at times simply just couldn't handle this mod. While I was waiting for the Archie to tame on day 13, I headed back to my base where I was jumped by an Alpha Dimorphodon who just left without elaborating like a Giga Chad. Anyway, getting back to what I was planning to do was craft large bear traps as I'm going searching for toxic dinos. And instead of making a huge trap that will take ages to farm, I'm just going to place a bunch of bear traps. Sounds simple, right? It's working. This. NANI? No! Get away, get away, get away! No! No, my PT! Alright, so maybe there was a flaw in my logic, but after my failure I headed back to my Archie which was now tamed. But it didn't really matter since a Primal Raptor had a vendetta against me.
Please, 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 no, no!
The rest of the day wasn't fun either. I spent it leading the Primal Raptors across the ocean. Why? It was now day 14 and I think I'm
going insane. Perhaps wacky. One might even say crazy. I'm losing my mind.
But I set out to complete this challenge and that is what I'll do. So I found another RG, trapped and tamed in. When flying home I found a significantly higher level RG. So guess what? I loaded back, put it to sleep with Trancos and fed it. And once again, on the next day I left to explore for a toxic dino and severely underestimated a toxic scorpion. Why do I do that so much on this mod? No, you've got to be kidding me. No, no. Oh no. No. Please don't come. Please don't. Aww. So after grabbing my loot, I had to trek all the way back to my RG that was taming. Gave it an XP potion, and I finally found a toxic dino I could tame. The only bad thing is, a demonic parasaur blew everything up. At least I finished off the day by taming a PT. That when flying on day 16, an Elder Itchy was on demon time and stole 101 narcotics. What? Good job I had already made all the Trancos I needed to chase and knock out this toxic fake Pachyrhinosaurus before dying from the cold. Luckily I'd made sleeper bags though. The tame was pretty cool, but well, in biology I was taught males don't lay eggs. This guy's a male, but would not be laying toxic eggs for me. Great. Since this area seemed pretty safe, I knocked out a few more dinos, and damn, the Primal Pike's actually pretty good at knocking things out. But while they did their thing, I tried to make my new fake Pachyrhinosaurus a saddle, but for toxic saddles you need toxic hide, so I started chomping on a toxic carbon enemies, when some raptors decided to steal my kill, and even had the audacity to kill everything else. It's all good though, all was going great. As the night passed over, I was getting harassed by a Dimorphodon whilst a loot ferox was nuking the beach. Surely not. How? Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to live on a rock. Yeah, that sounds nice. Nice and safe. But to complete the skull, I'm going to need an Anki for stone and, well, some protection. This raptor will do, well, for most likely to be a meat shield. And apparently a primal Kentro near me died, giving me some insane loot. You know what? I'll take it after all this pain. For better protection than a little raptor, I thought I should attempt to knock out this level 200 Baryonyx. It was a bit of a struggle having to chase this slippery guy around, but eventually he caused some Z's, and I collected my now finished tames from earlier. What is this? How is he doing this? He's magic. Once I arrived back at my homestead, I got to work on the foundation to my new circular base. Yes, I've never made one of these before. I also knocked the nearby parasaur and a level 110 RG on day 19, which I had to kill an allosaur for its prime meat that I fed to the RG, then headed to this NPC base I saw and chomped down on its roof, and found some nice loot like cementing base, which is just a pain to make. Sorry guys, but like, cry about it. To keep my dino safe, I carried up the ones I could to my new base location, and remembered I'm supposed to feed my Baryonyx for it to tame, so I went on a little fishing trip, and it was now mine. I also wanted to tame this otter I saw, so I went fishing again, and then I spotted trouble. An origin raptor had swam across the ocean to find me, so I had a 200 IQ pattern to lure it away with my raft, and it worked. But if that caught me, it would have been over for me, as Origin tier is a hefty amount above Primal tier, which already give me enough grief already. Now that's over, on day 20 I made my Anki a saddle to farm some stone and metal to continue the base more, and apparently at some point I made Barry a saddle. I don't remember this, it's not in my notes anywhere, so just take it. But to add to the randomness, I stole an Ovis, brought it back to base, chowed down on it, and then I drowned, because I forgot about breathing. Today was strange, alright? The next day started by gathering berries to make narcos and turn them into potent narcos, which are much better versions of narcos. And after that I went flying on my Argentavis, when I literally spontaneously combusted for no reason. What? So I used Barry to head to the Archie trap once again, Firstly though, I was intrigued what NPCs could do, so I wandered over to their base and they didn't take too kindly to me after what I did last time.
What? That what?
They kept killing me. It turns out they're really strong and they just kept backhanding me to my bed, where there was what seemed to be like a zombie horde trying to get to my PT. He seemed all fine though, so I left to find an RG, but instead I found a griffin that I tamed, as griffins are very cool. Like, pretty cool. Day 22. What's this? A female toxic dino I could tame? I had hope finally, but I made one major mistake of not checking my surroundings. Alright, look, you may have noticed I've been losing a lot of flies, so I'm just going to skim through whenever I tame them again now. So I tried doing a metal run, but it doesn't seem to actually exist on this map, and on top of that, this drop just straight up deceived me. It just opted out of there. Aww. Day 23, I farmed stone until my hatchet broke, and I had the realization I hadn't won flak in quite a while as it broke, so I went home, repaired all my kit, and then went out on my RG to steal a Doic. And I used my base as an easy knockout trap, because now I'll know for sure it'll be super safe.
Yes! Finally.
Hey you watching this, I bet you can't guess what happens in this clip, alright? You have these 3 options on screen, pick one.
Ain't no way.
It's safe to say I'm going insane. As the day turned over, I did the usual retame flyers with some silver lining, as I was actually able to peacefully knock out a toxic parasaur that was female, so I can finally get toxic eggs. Also, towards the end of the day, a demonic died nearby, giving me some awesome loot, and one of these items being a super good Godlife shotgun. I'll take it. Day 25, I knocked out some backup PTs, plus an Argentavis, and by then my Doic Lord and Saviour had finished taming, which I used to do a huge stone run into day 26, where I also did a wooden thatch run to continue building my base all the way into day 27. Now the shell was mostly complete, although the upstairs would be glass, but my metal was getting low, so I went on a long journey looking for some metal nodes. Apparently there is supposed to be lots in the snow, but it was freezing my toes off, so I went back and discovered my Anki already had some metal in it to keep me going for now. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows though. When using my RG to search for toxic dinos, a fire Megaraptor ruined my streak of not losing any flyers.
No. No, we were on such a good roll.
So Megaraptors are haunting me now, as one was chasing me while I was on www.
Oh, goddamn way. Ain't no way.
Where's my luck at? Can I get some good luck for once? The rest of the day was spent taming 2 Argentavises and Dodos because, well, they were cute and I wanted emotional support pets. Day 29, I went to fight a toxic raptor on Barry, but what I didn't know is they can pounce you straight off your mount. Ow, no, leave me alone, get off, no! When I returned, Barry wasn't even fighting back against the raptor, and it was really frustrating me, so much where we're not going to listen to my in-game voice since I got pounced off again, but eventually finally it was killed when Barry decided to listen to my whistles, and I was able to get the toxic blood from Barry's inventory. But when I headed back, this duck would just not leave me alone, like, please just stop. Once all was done and dusted, I got my citronal plants, cooked up some meat, and I was able to make 1 alpha kibble. Progress. In the night leading into day 30, I did a huge metal run in the desert as I discovered some nodes there, and on the way back I was heading for Crystal when these huge nuclear explosions went off.
No.
I returned home and started smelting the metal. I also made a long neck so I can use all the dirts I've scavenged throughout the day so far, and I then thought it was time to finally explore the map as I wanted to see if it's all as dangerous as where I live. Turns out, it's really not. Later in a river, I was fighting an Alpha Hesperornis for its poly, and when I folded it, I got some nice flak leggings. Pretty cool. The reason I was getting polymer was to craft cryopods, as it makes moving dinos around significantly easier. And as I was on my leisurely stroll back to my base through the redwoods, my PT imploded.
What? By what?
Luckily I had a backup PT to fly back, grab my stuff, I fed him an XP potion, when it happened again.
Are you kidding me? That thing just wasted an XP potion.
Sure enough, I had to run back to my base, and when sitting on my RG, I looked away for 1 second and this primal raptor couldn't keep its filthy mutts off me. This led me on to the next day when I had to solve a problem. I was exploring for stronger flyers than my ones that keep perishing. Thankfully I came across a level 190 alpha dimorphodon, so I bowled and then used my primal pike to knock him out and fed him alpha kibble, and it tamed. Whilst enjoying my new mount that I was surprised you can actually ride, which is cool, I saw some rocks that looked like they were blocking a cave, so I broke them and it turns out I was right. It's pretty cool actually, nice design. But what isn't cool are fabled brachiosauruses.
No way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
I finished the day by using my Trancaros to knock out a mana in the water, and I had to hold my breath to just about tame it, put it in a cryopod, swimming up before running out of oxygen, and that ending up much worse than it did. Day 33, I had to take Manga out something. This Ovis did just fine. I take back what I said. I just headed home and shit him after that when an Origin RG followed me the majority of the way, and after finally shaking it off, I returned and crafted my Manor saddle. The day after, I started demolishing my new base for the materials because a wise man once said, if you break your stone base and rebuild it, then it's a new base. This led on to day 35. You may be wondering, Wilkes, why are you moving again? Well, I'm sick of that place. It said easy on the map when spawning, but it's like the hardest place on the map. I lose the fly almost every day, so I'm moving to a new, safer, bigger location. To make glass walls though, you need crystal. When gathering said crystal, I got in the wrong dino's crossfire. Honestly, I'm not that mad. I was being super slow and kinda deserved that. So I returned on day 36 of my mana and started staring at the beast waiting for it to fall off the cliff because I was not going to get in the way of that. But I did grow pretty bored, so I tried shooting him with a bow and jumping towards the ocean to kind of push it off the edge when I got this insane clip. Whoa! Ah! Whoa, 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 hit the replay, you guys gotta see that one more time. Ah! Whoa, 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 whoa. See, that was, you have to admit, that was a really cool dodge. But what happens next is not cool at all. Barry? Barry! No, who could Barry? I finally got my loot back from my dead dino's carcasses, and I wanted to get back into the alpha tier dino league, so I just about trapped an alpha RG, but it scratched me with its talons, and an origin RG must have wanted to join in the party since it chomped on my manic armor. Why? I rushed back as quick as I could on my raft and used all my trank darts to knock out the RG and put up spikes to ensure its safety, as yes, it did somehow break out of the trap. I guess they're stronger than normal ones. I then drowned myself to quickly get back to my base, grabbed the alpha kibble I needed, and then I arrived back to the RG and fed it the kibble on day 37. It must have enjoyed the food a lot because it was now mine. Sadly, I didn't have a saddle for it yet, so I had to put it in a cryopod. And now the problem I had was, I can't get back up to my base without a flyer. So I had to quickly tame up another PT with raw mutton until I was cruising on my raft, and this happened. Whoa, 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 whoa. Tell me how my luck is for a literal flying creature died to a shark. One flies in the sky, and the other lives in the ocean. How? I guess all was okay-ish because I ended up with a level 200 RG that I used so I could get back up to my base. Where on day 38 I crafted potent tranquilizer darts and I farmed alpha dinos. When doing so gave me some pretty decent loot. I did this until I came across a level 100 vanilla Rex, so I thought I'd knock it out from a safe distance, then use raw mutton to tame it, as you know that's always a little bit quicker and better. And once he tamed I named him Rexy. Lastly in the day I used the blueprint to craft the 180% primal pike and also make the best pick and hatchet I had the resources for, as why not have the best tools you can have. Day 39 I was farming hide and chitin for the alpha RG saddle, and when killing this raptor I let go and it used some hoodoo ass magic to pounce me midair and kill me? How? So on my return I whistled my Rexy, which killed the alpha raptor. After recovering from that little mock-up, I headed over to my dead Anki's grave and got the crystal from its inventory. I then killed a scorpion in the redwoods, which dropped a very nice long neck. And even better, as I was returning home I was able to knock an alpha dimorphodon in a super safe spot. So I rushed back to make some alpha kibble, then flew back, fed it, and I named it Stripe because of its cool white stripe. And guess what, even better, there was an alpha PT right next to me that I tried to bowler and I failed. Although luckily he got stuck in the cliff, so I also knocked him out in a super safe but kind of hard spot to get to, but I mean at least he's really safe. I just can't believe today was actually super successful. I brought back my new companions on day 40 where I continued farming to finish the roof at my new base location. I was also able to make a saddle for my alpha PT which I named McQueen. He seems super cool and I'm pretty sure he's bigger than usual, right? Like, he looks pretty big. The rest of day 40 though, I pretty much finished building the shell of my new base, and day 41 it was moving day. I moved over every single crafting station and item I had to my new base. This took all day into day 42 where I brought over my dinos. They should be way safer here. But to make them more happy and comfortable, I made a feeding trough, as I don't think I've intentionally fed any of them yet, like this whole time. I also made a toxic parasol saddle so I could collect berries with Burby Collector, and after that I set up irrigation pipes from my crops on my second floor all the way down into the ocean. This continued on to day 43, but once I was done with that I stole a fabled trike's egg and left swiftly as I did not want to fight with the mother. I then continued heading to my base to grab the rest of my dodos, but I quickly needed to make a pit stop off to get my crop supplies from down below. Although it seemed that a fabled trike had been hunting me the whole time and it took out 2 of my dodos. I headed home with my losses and sorted out my crops with seeds and fertilizer. I then cooked some prime meat which made me able to make some elemental kibble, which means progress. To make said progress I need darts that I made on day 44. I also made the best armor I was able to with the blueprints and resources I had. I then headed out to tame an Anki, but after knocking it there was a Jaboa right next to it, so I just had to knock it out, and he was called Jerry. I was having fun with Jerry until I barely escaped death by milliseconds as a primal raptor almost caught me lacking. Sadly my Anki wasn't as lucky as me, but no bother, I knocked another Anki, and this time I flew back to my base to get a tame helper to help speed up the process. And when I returned, a scorpion was a little bit too close for comfort to my Yankee, so I killed him and got some really cool armor from him. Thanks. Day 45, I chopped the Yankee off at my base, and when looking for elemental dinos, I found a level 300 ice mega raptor, but I kinda failed the bowler. Jerry! No! It wasn't until the second time failing the bowler and being destroyed that I realised they can't actually be bowlered. Who would have thought? So my 5 IQ plan was to farm up lots of resources to make a stone base that I could hide in and knock out the Megaraptor. Luckily on day 46 I found a lower level Megaraptor because the level 300 was a bit too powerful. The next part of my plan was to shoot it, run back into the base, but damn, I guess my little legs are not quick enough as this thing was speedy. I tried this method many times with no success, so I tried adjusting the base design slightly, but still no success. Day 47, I didn't record half the day, so have my far superior ARK, but what happened is I demolished the current trap and rebuilt a simple gate trap used for RGs and griffins, and my new plan was to use McQueen to lure the Megaraptor in and then close the gates behind me. The sad news is McQueen died a cold, icy, painful death. The good news is I trapped the ice Megaraptor and I was able to shoot with shanks until it knocked out. I then grabbed the elemental kibble from my base and tamed the new addition to my army, Frosty. The day after, I crafted some toxic kibble and repaired my armor as it got demolished by the previous Megaraptors, and after this I was getting materials for a harpoon gun as I thought taming dinos would be easy by using a harpoon gun with nets. While doing this I tested out Frosty's strength, and wow, he's one strong boy. You see this? Yeah, apparently there's XP notes on this map. I didn't even know there were a modded map, so that's cool. Oh, and yeah, by the way, I also knocked another alpha PT out that I'd be able to breed once I get a female one, so that'll be useful. I searched a long time for polymer to day 49 when I finally found a single mantis. Bruh. It seemed that was the only mantis on the map, so as an alternative I had to kill big ducks for their polymer, and I got enough to make the harpoon gun and nets for it. Now though, I needed to make some alpha kibble for that PT I knocked yesterday, and fortunately my lemons were not grown yet, so I sold some from the local farmer down the road, and then I crafted the kibble and tamed the alpha PT. Oh, would you look at that? We're halfway through the video at the point where I tell you that I reply to every single comment, and then you go leave a comment, I respond to it, you hit the subscribe button. How wonderful. Day 50, we're now halfway there, but you know the other day I was on about alpha PT breeding? Well, luckily I found a female alpha PT, so I knocked it out of my long neck and surrounded it by spikes for safety. I then surveyed the nearby area for threats, and I found a toxic raptor and parasaur, so I knocked them both out and started taming them, as I could always do with more toxic eggs. But this idea didn't last too long, as an alpha raptor jumped me, almost finishing my life, when my toxic raptor woke up and sacrificed its life for me. His life was short-lived, but he served a good purpose. And at least I got an alpha egg out of all of this. I'll take any egg at this point. Day 51, I happened to come across another female toxic raptor, so I guess I had to tame it, you know, fate and all that. It was very annoying since she had friends and I was limited on tracks and also have terrible aim. I must have missed like 50% of my shots, I don't know how I'm that bad. So this took 10 minutes later of chasing this slippery raptor down when I finally put it to sleep and fed it the toxic kibble. X, this'll be your only purpose. Back at base I made a reserving bin which will be used to make prime meat jerky, which is then used to make apex kibble. This is when I remembered I still had to feed that alpha PT, so I quickly crafted some alpha kibble, flew to the PT, fed it, named it Sally and brought it back home where McQueen 2 and Sally had some bonding time. I wanted to give them some privacy, so I put all the things needed into the preserving bin to make the prime meat jerky, which would not be useful to me as I was supposed to make cooked meat jerky. Let's see how long this takes me to realise. Remember that alpha RG I got like 14 days ago? Well, I finally made it a saddle so I could go on a huge, insane, magnificent metal run, returning back the next day with not very much metal, to be honest. Look, I tried, okay? For the rest of day 52, I did admin jobs like filling up my forges, tending to my crops, and attempting to make stairs up to my base plateau area, which proved to be unnecessarily difficult. Why is this so hard? I can beat up a T-Rex but not make some stairs. Day 53, the sudden realization hit me that when trying to craft apex kibble, I made the wrong jerky meat. Nice. Anyway, I set up a sleeping bag in the desert as I saw a nice griffin a while ago, but at the time didn't have any elemental kibble. Well, now I do. The plan was simple. Griffin move, me shoot to net, griffin no move. Ah, no, I severely misjudged this. I quickly went home to recalculate my plan and repair my armor. As I was doing so, I brought new life into this world. I didn't realize the PT was so close to hatching. 2, 1, let's go! Our first baby. Let's go. Hey, let's not get distracted from the task at hand, alright? My new plan was to trap it in the same way I trapped Frosty by flying through the automatic S+ gates and then let them close behind me, trapping the griffin. Ah! Oh, no, McQueen, no. Follow me, please, come on. No passive. I'm free, stop. Come on, yes. Oh. McQueen 2 tried his best, but I had to switch him out with Frosty, who did the job just fine trapping the griffin, and so I started shooting it with tranks all the way into daybreak of day 54. But you see, the problem is, look at this boy's torpor. He has a lot. So I quickly headed back to my base, used Burby to gather seeds to make potent narcos, then make small bullets to craft trank shells, which then turned into trank darts, and I then headed back. You may be wondering why I didn't just use my primal pike to knock it out. Well, the flaw in using automatic gates is if I get too close, then I'm giving him freedom to have me for breakfast. Finally though, it got knocked out, and since I had to wait a while, I was killing the local doeks when a Palovia nearly ruined my whole day. Oh god, this is not good. Uh-oh. Thankfully I got out safe and sound, and by then Bluey had finished taming and I didn't even need a saddle for him. Whoa, this man's is strong. Day 55, my cooked jerky was done, meaning I was able to make apex kibble. Progress! Since I used up all my tranks the day before, I used Bebby once again to get seeds to make potent darts. Then for the majority of the day I was going around farming all the primal dinos I could kill for their hide and blood, until I killed an apex scorpion and got some super nice flak leggings. Day 56, I grew more frustrated that my toxic dinos were not squeezing out enough eggs, so I found this toxic scorpion that I stole with my RG and ran to a nice safe location on top of a cliff where I could easily knock it into submission with my primal pike, and Pincer was now mine. After bringing her home, I crafted and placed a fabricator. Yes, on day 56 I only just made one of these. Hey, in my defense, I can make most things in a primal smithy, alright? Anyway, after that I made some more cryopods in a nearby drop, and then farmed flint and stone to make spark powder, to make gunpowder, to make advanced sniper bullets, to make potent trank bullets. As the darts, yeah, they weren't cutting it as much anymore. It was now day 57 and I had a fair few dinos that were laying eggs, so I made a railed off platform for them all to go on to make gathering the eggs much easier and just sorting through them. Turns out it's quite hard moving dinos to a precise location when they don't have saddles, but I managed at least. Using the eggs I collected, I made some more kibble for the future, and my gunpowder had now crafted, so I made 6 potent trank bullets and then went exploring in the snow for potential tames. When I picked a fight with a fabled Megaloceros, of course I won, but Jesus, that's some good loot. Oh my god, what? Due to that loot, I was able to make some more trank bullets and darts. I also made some fur armor, as the snow area isn't a forgiving place. This was proved on day 58 when I ventured back into the snow to do a metal run without full armor, just some of the pieces, meaning I had to set up multiple sleeping bags so when I die I can quickly carry on what I was doing. All went well and I got a juicy amount of metal until the way back. Well, that's another story. No! 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 My RG! I swear to god, this game really tests one's willpower. I used one of my alpha PTs to try and get some of my loot, but I was only able to get my RG saddle as the Celestial Allosaurus was back and I had to rush out of there. And since I was probably going to be waiting a while for it to disappear, I got some taming gear from my base and headed out to find another alpha RG. I was able to find a level 110, it was the only one I saw all day, so it would have to do. I arrived back home on day 59 and was going through my loot box and spotted a shotgun I had got a while back from killing something, so I brought it with me to try grab my loot. Okay. I must have been blinded by rage because I tried shooting the aloe again and running away, but obviously I didn't make it out alive. What was I thinking? I returned shortly after and thank the heavens the aloe wasn't nearby, so I grabbed all my loot and some metal that I had to wait for, and I returned later with my RG to stuff it with all the metal. He was being super annoying though, wouldn't stop flying around, and since I couldn't find his saddle I just had to deal with it, and it was just annoying, you know, there was just times when it was really annoying. I started off day 60 by taming up an Anki and was getting ready to tame an Apex Dino when I realised I was missing my really good advanced sniper rifle. That's when I remembered I left it back where I died solo fighting the Allosaurus. It's a giant dodo. Later on I continued my Apex Dino search where I came across an opportunity I could not miss. No! 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 Faster! No! No! Go on! Go on! Please. 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 Yes! Okay, that was way too close for comfort, so I swiftly cryoed up Colonel and I left there as quick as I could. Unfortunately though, although Colonel was amazing, he was only alpha tier, so I continued my search for a female Apex tier dino and I found one. And can you guess what will start my journey to the mighty tier of Apex? A Dilophosaur. Yep, I knocked her out, put the kibble in her inventory, and I now had Demon. On day 61, since Bluey had so much health, it takes ages to regenerate naturally, so I used the berries and Burby to make 150 healing stews, fed them to Bluey, which made him poop everywhere. Once he was healed, I headed over to my good old trusty Stone Gate trap, where close by was a level 290 caustic Megaraptor. I couldn't quite get it to stay in the trap since he just didn't know how to fly straight. Ah, this is not good. So I had to use a little technique of letting him fly into a cliff, shooting him a few times, then he would come back to me, I would run away, and then he would run away for some reason, and I just let that recycle repeat until somehow I actually knocked him out, and I fed him the elemental kibble, and this guy was strong and super speedy. Day 62, I headed over to the volcano part of the map where I spotted the perfect tame. It was a level 350 Apex Poison Wyvern, so I tried to lure it away, but it wasn't the only thing following me. No! Celestial! I didn't see that, no! Damn, I was going to need to be a little bit more prepared if I was going to go tame that wyvern, so I used my RG and Doek to farm up a wyvern trap, which surprisingly you don't need that many things for. And I set up on a cliff quite far away from the volcano, and now all I had to do was get my loot and lure a wyvern into the trap. So the next day, the first part of the recording messed up again, so you get my outstanding art, and what happened was I got my loot back, but a celestial RG accidentally killed my PT due to me getting too close to its blast radius. So I grabbed another PT to lure in the wyvern, and I got it so close to the trap when a necrotic or neocratic wyvern must have followed me, and it cocooned me, and I was unable to move. Why can't I move? What's happening? What? They can do that? Let me just grab my stuff. Oh no, oh no. Oh, my saddle. Wait, yes, come on, come on. Alright. Yeah, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. We're good. No, oh, no. It was now day 64 and I was out of disposable PTs. So I had to use my Alpha Dimorphodon to get my loot, but I kind of fell off the cliff and you know that Celestial Rex? Well, it got me again. Okay, so now I was out of every flyer other than my breeders and non-disposable ones that I can't let die. So I quickly knocked up an Alpha Griffin, tamed him up pretty soon after that and called him Squishy. Again, my footage was bugging, I think because my storage on my computer was, I had none left after recording 100 days. But my notes tell me I tried to lure in the wyvern with my new griffin, but died. So I took the risk of using the queen too, and to my surprise, Squishy was still hanging on for his life. So I whistled him away to safety and fed him some healing stews because I actually quite like Squishy now. And finally, I was able to trap an Apex Lightning Wyvern, and I started firing it down with tranks. It did escape once or twice, but it was nothing I couldn't handle too much. And then after using tame helpers, he arose very quickly. I then brought him home and named him John. Where it's now day 65, and I wanted to test out John's lightning, and it somehow backfired on me. Anyway, after that, I made my first fabled kibble, meaning we can tame fabled dinosaurs now. Progress! Now guess what happens in this clip with this tiny seagull versus me on this huge lightning dragon. Yes, he did it to me again and stopped 86 narcotics. After dealing with that menace, I headed to the desert to kill Megaraptors for feathers. All was going well until I got caught lacking by an ice Megaraptor. On day 66, I tamed another Apex Dillo, you know, for more eggs to keep him going, and I then stumbled on an NPC house in the desert. Although I removed the mod a while ago due to it killing my game, their base was still there, so I took advantage of this opportunity and raided them. I got some nice cementing base, which is very helpful as I haven't found any beaver dams on this map yet, and I've had to craft it, and that's my least favourite thing to do. But after that, it was time to go home. I wish I didn't though. No. Day 67 didn't start any better. I accidentally ate one of my fabled kibble. How? I don't know, alright? It's not like it was a cheap mistake, alright? Fabled kibble's expensive. But I continued the day by healing Squishy and Chicken, and then wanted a strong loudmouth, and went searching far and wide to the volcano area and found Barney. Slight downside, he had a 1.2 million torpor. That's a lot. So I headed home and made quite a few trank darts and bullets and crafted a metal giga trap that I placed on day 68, which I then lured Barney into the trap, and it was super easy with Squishy because griffins just make taming so easy, and after firing a few shots at it, I did some quick maths and realised I really didn't have enough tranks. So I headed back home, farmed everything I needed to make potent trank bullets into day 69, nice, and day 70, yeah, I made a lot, and once I arrived back at the location, I saw a phoenix that I might want to tame, but its AoE attack was a bit too powerful for me, almost ending Squishy, so I ran away, and after losing aggro, I went back to Barney and shot him solidly all the way into day 71, where after so long of just clicking the left mouse button, he finally knocked out. And I was a bit short on kibble, so I quickly went back, made some more, and tamed Barney. Ah, yes! You're beautiful. You do not want to mess with this guy. To make his saddle, I farmed up a bunch of Apex Dinos for their hide until something blew up near me and broke some of my armor. I don't know what did it, but I wasn't going to stay around to find out. And in the evening, I finally had enough hide to make the Apex Gigantosaurus saddle. 99,000 damage! That's insane! I continued hunting on Barney into day 72, but quickly stopped off to make some healing stews, as after upgrading Barney's health it would take ages to regen, and once I did that I flew out near the middle of the map to throw Barney out of a cryo, when an exploding Ferox was milliseconds away from destroying me. Whoa, I got away. Oh. I don't actually know how I didn't die from that.
no.
Now, although the Origin Argentavis was too scary to take on,
No.
I was still able to take on loads more
Dude,
things I
take
couldn't
my
before, like a
body.
Primal Tech Rex, and beating a dragon until he flew away. And killing all these high level things seemed to be getting me better loot and more ranked ups than if I was actually farming, so that's always good, and it's way funner because farming's not that fun. The next day I finished off my firearmor set, so I could actually go metal farming without worrying about the temperature. And when farming the metal, a man had tried to interrupt me, but just failed horrendously. You should just give up. And then around the corner I saw a nest. Turns out it's a wyvern's nest, which was pretty cool. So I stole the egg, and even better, 2 minutes later I found a level 370 egg. Well, that was easy. It would be a shame if I was never to actually use these eggs again. Day 74, I was out exploring when I found my PT I'd left a few days ago after the Ferox incident. Oh, I forgot about... No! The timing. Yeah, so today I definitely had some close calls. Like, really close calls. Oh, no, dragon, no, go faster, come on. Phew, 800 HP. After that, I definitely made sure to go to a safe location and heal up Squishy with healing stews. And after one of those close calls, I thought I may be able to take on some Alpha Indominus Rexes. I was wrong. Die, ouch, oh no, I was wrong. Do you know what? I reckon Barney could do it, man. Revenge! Die! I was feeling pretty strong after that, so I took on the mighty Primal Raptor, and he was barely nicking me, but he did have 18 million health, so it took ages to kill, but I prevailed. Finally. Oh damn, that's some nice loot. So I got a little bit cocky after what happened today, so I tried it on with a demonic parasol.
no.
Turns out Barney doesn't have rider protection. Yeah, I got obliterated and had to return on chicken. Luckily Barney was holding his own and killed the parasol, so I did the logical thing of flying towards Barney, but apparently not. It seems the parasol had left a ticking time bomb for me. The carnage didn't stop though. I saw a Primal Carno on the way back and destroyed it. Honestly, I feel invincible on Barney. One of the items I got for killing the Primal Raptor was a skin, so I turned my Toxic Raptor into a fake Primal Raptor. It doesn't help him in strength, but it looks cool. It was now day 76, where I tamed an Alpha Didaeodon because it could be useful for healing at some point, and I then spotted a level 40 Malin, which is a special type of dino, so I started shooting it and it kind of spazzed out like everywhere, and they wouldn't even hit me, which was kind of odd, but it was a pink unicorn and it was cool. Like, the knockout wasn't too hard, it was just really strange. And once he was knocked out, I crafted out some special kibble, and Malin was now part of my army. And right after that, a raptor attacked Malin, but it kind of pooped out a bunch of little jaboas and destroyed it. I don't know what this thing is. What the hell? The day after, I had it written in my notes that I killed a manticore and a dodo wyvern, but I can't find any footage of it anywhere, so use your imagination. But what I do have footage of is my near-death experience. Oh, what's this? What? Ow, no, get away. No, jeez. How strong was that thing? After that fight, I took on some easier fights, like a couple exploding Varorexes, or up the beach a couple of Apex Indominus Rexes, which were pretty tough but not strong enough for Barney, and when they died they dropped a fertilized egg, which was awesome, so I went back to base and made a nice little hatching area on day 78. I don't really know why I'm only just making a hatching station, but hey ho, I guess I forgot and I haven't really breeded anything yet that needs it. And once it was ready, I laid down the apex egg, and it said it would take an hour to hatch. So while I waited, I left to go gather the last item I need for a mega kibble, which is electric feathers. And after some while, I found an electric megaraptor, which was perfect, so I killed it and made some omega kibble. Progress! Day 79, this is me, and you're probably wondering how I got here. Well, I'm a bit embarrassed of my mistakes, so let me draw it for you. After my newly obtained Omega Kibble, I was searching for Omega Dinos, and I flew a little bit too close to an Omega Indom Rex, causing my beloved Squishy's death. And that brings us up to where I am now, running for my life, trying to trap this Indom Rex. I got it in the trap at the cost of my own life. I spawned back at the base to grab a PT and tranks, and once I arrived back I shot it continuously until I ran out of tranks, so I had to return home to make more into day 80, where I got a little visitor. Whoa, that was, no, Bunny attack, what's happening? Fly away please! Yeah, that little visitor broke my breeding station and most of my windows upstairs and then just dipped. He didn't even stay for the fight. Not a Gigi-chan move. Once I felt like I had enough tranks, I headed back over to the Indom, who when I arrived had somehow escaped his trap. so it made knocking it out significantly harder as I had to chase it down on Barney, until at last, he finally gave up.
Yes.
I went over as quick as I could and fed the damn Indom its kibble so I could rest at last, as it was very late at night. On day 81, while waiting for my cry sickness to wear off, I rebuilt my hatching station to continue hatching the Apex Indom, and I also rebuilt my walls upstairs since, well, that Megaraptor incident, all the glass just shattered for some reason. I then named my Omega Indom Midas and leveled him up, then left to kill some Omega Indoms for their hide to craft a saddle. When all of a sudden the realization hit me, I tamed a male. Males don't lay eggs, so before I returned home I headed to the swamp where there was a female Omega Sarco, and this should be an easy tame as Sarcos are slow, right? What? It one-hit me? I can already tell this is going to be an annoying one. I flew back over with Buzz, I mean your mother. I'm sorry. Grabbed my stuff and continued to tranquilize the Sarco until, well, I miscalculated and got Buzz and myself killed.
Oh no.
Day 82, oh, day 82, what a day. The biggest pain in my ass, the amount of rage I had on this day was something else. The day I finally knocked out the Sarco and was building gates to protect it, while constantly being attacked by a broodmother and 100 of its super spiders, and then I kept luring it away and it just kept coming back, all for the Sarco to just be killed. What a great day. Day 83 was a much better day. Okay, other than that, it was a good day, because my Apex Indom hatched and was growing healthily, and I now had a saddle for Midas who does a whopping 350,000 damage. Yeah, that's a lot. That's stronger than Barney. And even better news, I found a level 30 female Omega Spino below the cliff I was on. Finally, some good fortune. It was pretty easy to knock out, and then I went back to my base nearby to craft some more Omega Kibble, then came back and finally I can get Omega Eggs. And in the evening I was on a spark powder grind again, as these new high tier dinos are requiring a godly amount of tranks to knock out. While doing this into day 84, I realised, wow, my current forges are really slow and I could really do with an industrial forge, but I'm not going to be able to make one in time. So instead I farmed the materials to make 2 primal forges to add to my collection to speed up the process, so I now had a total of 5 forges. I then imprinted my Indom, and after that I arrived at a cave and assumed it would be pretty easy with Malin. I was kinda wrong. It wasn't exactly too hard, but my PC found it a struggle to render in 1 billion dinos. I don't know why there was so many in a cave. It was hurting my game so bad I had to freeze the recording because my PC would not run. And trust me, I did you a favour not having to watch that disgusting footage. But in short, I got the artifact and left ASAP out of that hellhole, where I then travelled the map for Apex Hide, which made me able to make the new Indom saddle. I named her Scarlet after giving her an XP potion and healing her, and by then it was now day 85. Yeah, you know that artifact I got? I used it to craft the Origin Spino. And you see all these other origins on this crafting station? I have to defeat every single one of them to take on the demonic Reaper Empress. So I headed down to the beach with Barney, Midas, and Scarlet. Alright, 3, 2, 1, attack! Yes! Yes! With the legacy of Infinite Jura. What? I did it. I killed an Origin boss. Only 7 more to go. As I flexed on my army strength, I whistled my dinos to kill a puny demonic monkey, and he got demolished. Day 86, I was looking for a new Griffin, as they are really good for tamings. You can just stand on them and shoot down on the dinos below, and I tried to tame the first caustic Griffin I saw. For some reason I didn't look at the level, but hey ho, it should do a good job, even though it's level 40 and probably not very strong. But I knocked it out in a safe location, made the kibble, and fed it. And he was called Spearmint, because the green and white kind of look like those 1 mints. Later on in the day I found a female fabled Jabot, and it's exactly what I needed for eggs. So again I knocked and fed and tamed Jerry. Wait, you can ride these? Ah, please, get off me. Jerry, help. Jerry, help. Haha. After bringing Jerry home, I was still on the tame hunt, and that brought me to the Volcano Land, where I tried luring an Omega Wyvern to my trap. This led into day 87, where I got the Wyvern super close to being trapped, but its fire attacks melted me. After dying, I flew back at the speed of light, whistled my Griffin away, and took out an Apex Wyvern that was following us. After grabbing my loot, I started tranking it out in the open, as my PT would not survive any more of its fire attacks trying to lure it in, and it all went well until it didn't. That is not good. Damn it. A wise man once said, if you get blown up by a big bomb, then pull out your best dino, and that's what I did. I was not giving up. Just throwing miners out seemed to be enough to scare off the threats, and they all seemed to just fall off the cliff. And although the wyvern's taming effectiveness was probably in the negative after, being bombed, I still fed it the kibble and tamed it, and this guy looked like a menace. Once I returned home, I crafted the origin Kairuku, yeah, we'll go with that, and then healed up my dinos and headed down to the beach, and it should be much easier now with the wyvern. Alright, let's go. What? No! No! I went through all that effort! Yeah, maybe I shouldn't bring tames to a boss fight with under a few million health. That was a bad idea. This proved to actually be quite a hard challenge, as the Karyuku could attack very fast, his DPS was insane, and they were shredding through our health. And to make matters worse, 2 Primal Carnos joined the fight, which is, Primal Carno's pretty strong, but due to my Omega's heal ability, we came out on top, and I got more of the infinite durability armor. It's really cool because it doesn't break, and repairing stuff is so annoying. The following day though, I discovered a really cool fact. Not every female primal dino lays eggs, so that fabled Jabora I spent expensive kibble on, yeah, it's useless to me. So I went searching for a fabled dino that does lay eggs, or at least I thought did. On my journey I found beaver dams. It's nice now, but it took 88 long days of crafting cement in place to do this, but at least I have them, alright? And back on the mission at hand, I found a low level female trike which will do just perfect, so I knocked it and tamed it and brought it back to the base. And I also made the origin raptor summon. I wasn't going to fight it quite yet as I wanted another strong wyvern, so I headed to Volcano Land of course, and there was a dodo wyvern which would be perfect. So I lured it into my wyvern trap, and for some reason, I honestly couldn't tell you why, on day 89 I decided to go to the desert into a cave I'd seen previously to get an artifact. It was a cool cave with creatures frozen in some liquid, but it kind of straight up made my game crash like a couple times, so after loading back up and completing my task, I made a quick stop off at my base to make some more tranks and got to knocking this bad boy out who had a whopping 1.5 million torpor. Why must this game do this to me? Thankfully this time I did bring enough tranks to knock this sucker out and then made its kibble that it was able to chow down on day 90. For some reason though, Greg, yes his name is Greg needed his saddle. So I found up some chitin real quick, made Greg's saddle, and gave him a little test run. To my surprise, he has every wyvern attack. That being lightning, fire and poison, which is super cool because, I mean maybe Dodo wyverns already had this, but I didn't know this, so it's very cool. I then made an Origin Rex summoner, but learned from my mistakes that Greg will not be joining us in this fight. A Primal Allosaurus was in my boss arena, so I had to take him out first, and I then summoned the Origin Rex. He was a heavy hitter and probably my hardest challenge yet. The fight took over 30 minutes, all the way into day 91 to finally defeat. Again, I got some more of the cool Infinite Dura armor and the Rex skin, meaning I now had a wish version of an Origin Rex. As you may be able to tell, these fights are taking way too long and I'm gonna run out of time, so I need some more firepower, and I went looking on Greg for a female Omega Indom that I could breed with Midas, and of course I went straight to the Volcano Land and spotted a lovely couple. Sadly I'd have to split them up, and after luring them by the trap I dealt with the boyfriend, and when trying to lure the female in by standing on Greg's neck, well, turns out on Dodo Wyverns you can't do that, so I fell off hurting my ankle and then got jumped by a raptor. All was good though. I got back on Greg and tried to trap the Indom, but what wasn't good is the trap was no longer functional. I have no idea why, so I went back to my base, made some metal pillars and a couple things that would be good for adjustments, and then placed them down. And hopefully this time it can't walk out. And when trying again, thank God I was successful this time. Unfortunately though, I had to do the usual trank grind into day 92. And you remember that fact I told you about not all female dinos laying eggs? So I tamed that trike. Well, turns out fabled trikes also don't lay eggs. So again I went on a fabled tame run where I met a dodo that seemed a bit strange. Whoa! I came across some fabled Ankies and killed all but the lower level one, as I only brought one kibble and I had to use that and make it last to get this because I was not taming any more fabled dinos, okay? And I used Malin to knock out the lowest level one I could find, which saved me a lot of tranks and it tamed. And don't worry, this time I actually searched it up and these ones do lay eggs. I dropped it off at the base and then crafted up the last of my tranks, and thankfully the Omega was still trapped, so I used up about 90% of my tranks, and trust me, I brought a lot, like a good couple hundred, but clearly it wasn't enough. Then I had the genius plan to use Malin to just knock it out for free. So you think smarter, not harder. It worked mostly until the Indom took a swimming trip and somehow escaped the trap, and by chance I had left over just enough tranks to knock it out in the water, and I had the kibble on me to tame it before it drowned. I immediately got my Omegas breeding on day 93. Once the egg was laid, I crafted up a couple more origin bosses, then headed to the beach to do the first of the fight, which was the origin raptor, who was a piece of cake as its attack barely scratched any of my dinos and the fight was done in under 10 minutes. But next was the origin bear. Oh boy, this was a different story. It had a bleed effect, making this a very difficult challenge as I had to heal my dinos at any chance I got. Midas! What are you doing? You idiot! The fight carried on into day 94 where I used my good healing potions to keep Midas alive. This is when tragedy struck. No! Scarlet! No! Scarlet fought greatly, but this world was too much for her. Please make sure to pay your respects, alright? I was fueled with rage and made sure to destroy the bear, which I certainly did, but gosh darn, these fights are getting hard. At least I got to feel some joy when I collected all my dino's eggs and realised I could finally make some celestial kibble. Probe, shut up! Alright, I'm sorry. This was huge though. Celestials are super powerful and will make these fights much easier, so I instantly went searching in the most common place I saw them, which was the snow biome, and the first one I saw was a level 120 Ferrozino. And you know, I'll happily take that. It may not be max level, but if you look at the day count, I am running out of time. So I swiftly went back to my base, crafted up a trap idea I had in my head, and then placed it before the ferry noticed me, and I tested my theory, and to my luck, the ferry was actually trapped. It wasn't a perfect trap, but it worked, okay, and it stayed there until it was close to knocking out, and that's when it ran the other direction and took advantage of the flaw in my trap. It was able to run away, no worries though. I chased it down and quickly knocked it out, and I tamed it even quicker as this area was scary and nothing was gonna mess up my tame. I made Lightning Chicken's saddle as soon as I could, and this is the coolest thing ever, but my ride was short-lived as I had to imprint my baby Omega on day 95. Where on this day I put some more Omega eggs into the hatching station, then made the Origin Carno summon and was pretty excited for this fight since Lightning Chicken was joining us and he made a big impact fighting this guy. It was over very swiftly, and due to having a fair amount of daylight left, I thought it couldn't hurt to go scouting. What for, you may ask? A demonic tier dino, since I'm close to being able to make demonic kibble. But I don't just want any demonic dino, I want a demonic thorny dragon, as these guys seem like straight up gods. Day 96, I made one demonic kibble. I did have to wait for the rest of my crops to grow more to make the rest of the kibble, and when continuing to scout, I found a demonic thorny dragon. I wasted no time crying up Greg, throwing out Midas and trying to lure the thorny into my ferry trap. Let's just say it didn't go fully to plan, as it's way stronger than I imagined, so I tried a different technique of sniping it off the cliff. Well, that didn't go to plan. Oh no, I was not supposed to do that. Oops. Since the trap wasn't quite working, I crafted up some extra parts to make it a little bit bigger before running back as fast as I could, grabbing all my stuff and expanding the trap with the constant fear of that beast so close to me. Luckily it didn't sniff me out, and even better, the trap mostly worked until again the usual running away and it escaped, but it didn't make it far before toppling over. I had to rush back to my base as remember I had to make the rest of the kibble. Fortunately on the way there's a demonic monkey which I killed for its demonic hide, as you know we're gonna need the demonic thorny saddle which you need that hide for, so all's good. My crops are done and I made the rest of the kibble and then I returned, tamed this bad boy up and called him the God of Destruction. Oh boy, was that name fitting. Oh my god, he's insane! I couldn't have much fun though as day 100 was near and I had some troops to race. Early into day 97 I crafted the last two origin bosses, being the Argentavis, which was probably the easiest fight yet due to my newfound dino power. It was over in a couple minutes, and after that I summoned the Wyvern. This was a pretty hard fight as it flew around so much and I had to go around healing all my dinos as it would spread them out. And if you don't know, there's a huge delay in between healing. I think it's a good couple minutes, so I've got to be careful which dinos I heal, but thankfully in the end no one died and the Wyvern was defeated. After arriving back home I crafted the demonic Reaper Empress using all of the origin souls I had collected, and now I was in the preparation stage doing anything I could to help me win this battle. When I remembered I had the upgrade station mod installed, so I crafted an upgrade station and was going to upgrade some of my dino saddles. Wow, was it expensive though, so I picked my most likely dino to win the battle, which was my God of Destruction, and I needed some metal to upgrade it, so I demolished my Giga Trap and managed to get the saddle to Apprentice tier. Any little will help. Day 98, I was doing some more preparations, like just making sure I had the best equipment and armor I owned and all the healing potions I had, all the way into day 99 where I got all my dinos that were fit to fight into position. When I tell you I was nervous, I meant it. This had been 99 gruesome, hard, painful days. This is the hardest mod I've ever done, but this led on to day 100. Day 100. We have gathered all the hardest and strongest dinosaurs we possibly could to fight the demonic Reaper Empress. And they're all probably gonna die, but let's try. 3, 2, 1. Come on, we're not too far. So close. Come on. One more hit. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes! 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 I can't see anything. That was a hard 100 days, but we were able to complete all the challenges. Oh no, I forgot about my legs.